What's up, wrestling card collectors, sports enthusiasts, and hobby nuts? It's Tom here from CollectAWrestlePalooza. If you're into 80s and 90s pop culture, if you're into professional wrestling, if you're into VHS, action figures, cards, anything to do with 80s and 90s pop culture, you found a channel for you. Every week I feature new content, mostly about wrestling cards and my pickups. I do mailbag videos, but I also delve into some of the perennial questions of the hobby, why I got into the hobby, why you might have gotten into the hobby, what brought you back to wrestling, what brought you back to collecting. All of those things are discussed on this channel. So if this is your first time watching a CollectAWrestlePalooza video, welcome. I appreciate the support. If you're a returning viewer, even better. I'm so glad you came back to watch another video. This week I want to talk about a few things. I'm going to be featuring another piece of artwork that I made. I did another drawing, and I'm also going to be opening up this box, which is another UPS media mail box, so I'm sure it's a VHS. We'll be opening up that together and seeing what's in this package. Can't wait to do it. Have fun. Enjoy the video.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
So I'm going to start with my drawing, and this is Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster, of course. This is mostly colored pencil, but also some pen and ink, some marker, some mixed media. This is Hulk Hogan holding the big gold belt, which is the NWA or WCW Heavyweight Championship. I believe it's the NWA one specifically, but it's the big gold belt. And then it's back when he was not Hollywood Hogan, not the NWO Hogan, but back to the Hulkster. And you can see his bandana says Hogan on it. His shirt says Hulkster. I'm sure Hulk Hogan was trademarked, or Hulkamania was trademarked by the WWF is what I think. So my feeling is in those days, the WCW era of Hulk Hogan, when he was the yellow and red Hulk Hogan, they didn't use Hulkamania or those things. They called him more Hogan or Hulkster. If I'm wrong about that, please, post a comment on this and let me know and inform me of the trademarks and why he would have been called what he was called. But he did rebrand himself to some degree at this point. He was a fan favorite again. He did hold the big gold belt. Thought it was an interesting era of Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania, kind of rekindling his roots, going back to be the baby face that started his career. So I made a drawing of it. I will be putting this up on my eBay store. If you are interested in this or any of the other items that I'm featuring every week on this channel, or just wrestling collectibles in general, please visit CollectAWrestlePalooza on eBay. There's a lot of neat stuff on there. It's fun to look through the store even if you don't intend to buy anything. Appreciate the support. I want to talk as well about fine art, wrestling, my past, what got me into collecting again. So I went years of my life without thinking about pro wrestling. And for me, it was the act of collecting, or the fact that other folks were putting value on these nostalgia items, that got me interested in collecting again. And then specifically in collecting wrestling, because as a kid, I was a huge wrestling fan. It's a big part of my childhood, a big part of my identity, coming of age, different parts of my life were signified by different events in pro wrestling. It just speaks to me. So with that, of course, I wanted to recollect those items and that nostalgia. So for me, it was more about the entry point of collecting that brought me back into pro wrestling and focusing on that again, watching wrestling again, getting back into the history, reading about it, understanding some of the gaps in my knowledge in wrestling history. Those synergies all worked together. And to some degree, the artwork is another piece of that puzzle. So I do have a background as an artist, and this is sparking my creativity again. I haven't made a piece of art in years, and now that I'm back into wrestling and wrestling collectibles, it's making me want to market myself as an artist and, more importantly, create works of art again, which is wonderful. So I'd be interested if other folks have thoughts or comments about how collecting and collecting wrestling has informed their life or enriched their life more than just as a business decision. What was your entry point? Was it wrestling got you into collecting? Was it collecting got you back into wrestling? Was it a little bit of both? Comments below. Now, of course, the other thing I mentioned I'm going to do on this video is open up this media mailbox. I believe it is a VHS. I primarily collect cards, but I also collect VHS and action figures. Again, that synergy of all the different types of collectibles on my shelf working with each other and the relationships between them, that just sparks creativity and makes the whole bigger than the sum of the parts, in my opinion, which is why I collect other types of objects. So let's see what's in here. So this is an interesting piece. This is actually not a wrestling VHS, but it is a sports VHS. And the reason I bought it is a couple of reasons. One, 1984. That's a year of my childhood. I was 5 years old in 1984. I was a starry-eyed kid watching the news, watching sports, these bigger-than-life superstars, and what bigger event than the Olympics. And in 1984, there were some champions that really made a mark from the USA. I think it was Greg Louganis, platform diving. I think there was Mary Lou Retton in gymnastics. I don't recall exactly if they were 84 or 88 or what Summer Olympics those superstars were a part of. But I know that in 1984 there was a lot of just larger-than-life characters on the Olympic scene. And the other thing I like about this VHS is it's the big box, right? I loved when you'd see these big objects on the store shelves, in the rental shelves, these big box VHS. Just smell them and look at them and hold them. They're heavy. It brings back nostalgia just as an object from that era. So this is ABC Sports presents 1984 Summer Olympics highlights. Very attractive box. It does have the gold, emblazoned border here. The side of it looks very attractive. Again, if you were going to bookshelf it, it says 1984 Summer Olympics highlights. Let's see what it says on the back here, if it provides any details. It says, all the excitement and drama of the Summer Olympics are yours to relive time and again with 1984 Summer Olympics highlights produced by ABC Sports. And the other thing I like about this one is it did have a copyright of 1984. This wasn't a VHS that came out in the 90s or in the 2000s reliving it. This was actually from the year of the Olympics. It says this is edited from the 180 hours of coverage ABC Sports devoted to the Los Angeles Summer Games. Another great reason to collect this is this was an Olympics that was held in the United States in Los Angeles. It made this year's Olympics a crowning achievement in sports. 1984 Summer Olympics Highlights presents the very best of the competition that comprised these Summer Games as reported by over 3,500 ABC Sports personnel dedicated to covering the action in Los Angeles. And it was marketed as an original seal. I never have a good way of telling if these seals are correct or if they're reseals or what have you, but the box looks to be in new shape, so I'm going to guess that this is an original factory seal, even though I don't see a watermark on it, so it could be a reseal, what do I know, but, well, it does have the original price sticker on it, so that would be another clue that this is an original seal. So, pretty inexpensive, but I just thought it was a nice monument to that time. Like I said, I like to collect objects that have special significance in history, something that has nostalgia, and those are the reasons why for this VHS cassette. And again, very affordable. No one is really collecting them at this point, so I figured, why don't I be the first to start collecting these types of things? Well, not the first, but you get the idea. Doesn't say much again about what superstars are represented, but just a great video. This is from Continental Video, copyright 1984, American Broadcast Companies. So that does it for this week. Just one quick VHS opening and then more importantly featuring another piece of artwork. I'm going to try to feature more artwork on this channel because I want to follow and give myself more motivation to continue to create pieces of art. It's a great meditation and also I think a really healthy exercise for me to relive some of those moments and get my hand involved and just kind of create all these synergies in collecting and wrestling and creativity and everything that I talk about on my channel. So I hope that this provides a little motivation for you, maybe some inspiration. Maybe you had a thought while watching this video about something you want to collect. I say go for it. Think about it more than just the business. Have fun, enjoy yourself, and have a great week.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.